Hey again, it's Christina from Sunshine and Flora. So I've got another bouquet making video for you guys. I'm in the back workroom of the store this morning and I have 4 cut flower bouquets to put together. This is a weekly pickup for a client that gets 4 bouquets every single week for herself and her employees in her office. I just love that. So I try to make them different every week. And I recently found out that they don't really care for purple. And in the spring, I've had a lot of purple. So I'm very thankful this week to have everything but purple for them. So anyway, I'm just going to show you what I have this week. We'll put the bouquets together and then you can see what they look like. Now the first bucket obviously is bright yellow. These are all rudbeckia. I think these are Cherokee Sunset. They're a little bit darker, but most of them are the Goldilocks. I planted these last year. They're out in my perennial cottage garden. Goldilocks, from what I understand, can be single or semi-double. All of these are single, but they're absolutely beautiful. So I have an entire bucket of these. I've got some Feverfew, which pairs with it absolutely perfectly. Then I have a bucket of Snapdragons. And if you guys watched my last video, I had harvested some snapdragons and I discovered that I had thrips. Well, now I'm going to be doing another video on this, but since then, one of my flower farmer friends gave me a whole bunch of information. I've actually spread some encapsulated nematodes, and so I'm hoping that's going to start working. She gave me some sprays to try, but these snapdragons were harvested both outside in the hoop house. There were a few thrips on the hoop house ones when I harvested them, but I took a bucket of water with a little bit of soap in it and I dunked them for about 20 minutes, and then I dunked them again in fresh water, thoroughly rinsed them, let them dry, put them in the cooler, and they are free of thrips. Now snapdragons, thrips like snapdragons, from what I understand, more than some other flowers because they get inside of there. But these all look great, so I'm gonna use them. I also have a bucket of yarrow, so this is gonna be a cute accent. And then I have a little bit of status left. I've got some pink status, so I'm gonna throw some of that in there too because the snaps are apple blossom, and I think that rose status with the snapdragons are gonna look awesome. Now, I already have my paper cut. These are gonna go together super fast. I buy 18-inch rolls off of Amazon, which is linked down my shopping link below, and then I cut them to a square, fold them a little off center, and that is how I wrap my bouquets. So we are going to start with, I'm gonna do probably 2 or 3 nice stems of Feverfew per bouquet. These are really nice stems. I like to take off a few of the bottom ones just so they're not mixed in and get smushed. Then I'm gonna put in 2, I'm gonna put in 3. I've got a lot of snapdragons. So you know what? And these are gonna be bigger bouquets. So let's go ahead and do 4 snapdragons, maybe a couple white and a couple of the apple blossom. Then I'm going to mix in the rudbeckia. This one has a bud. Whether it opens or not, I'm gonna leave it in there because I like that texture for an accent. Now, oh, that's a bug. Excuse me, sir. Now, a couple of these do have a few insect bites in them, little tiny holes. You know what? These are not going to a florist, so I'm okay if there's a hole or 2 in there. It doesn't really bother me. They're still absolutely beautiful. All right, so we got 4 snapdragons. At this time, I'm gonna come in with a couple more smaller stems of Feverfew just to flank the outside. Again, taking off a couple of the lower branches. Oh my gosh, these are so happy. Now, opposite from the Feverfew, I'm going to put some yarrow. And these are all different colors. I've got white, I've got peach, I've got pink. So I'm just gonna mix them. Oh, that's looking so cute. Now I'm just going to put in a couple pieces of large status, the rose, to flank the sides. Now, this is what status looks like, and a lot of times they'll have lower stems that aren't as strong, and that's the case with these. And then on the bottom, you can kind of tear some of that foliage off too. So I'm just gonna I'm gonna tear a bunch of this off. Hopefully you guys can see me okay. Do you guys like these bouquet making videos? Do you like watching me put together to see what I do every week? Let me know. All right. Isn't that pretty? When I get them all put together, I'll line up the buckets and put a group picture up on the screen at the end. I think this one needs one more Rudbeckia on this side. Now this little side guy, he's a little low. I'm just gonna go ahead and get rid of him. Okay, there it is. Rubber band it. And my stapler. Oh, so pretty. Wow. I love this color combination and I think they are going to love it too. All right, I'm gonna get this in a bucket of water and then we'll do another one together. So I think I'll just give you guys a few garden updates while I put these bouquets together. This is the week that I usually call every June my garden lull. Now, obviously I have things that I am harvesting, but it's not as plentiful as other weeks in the garden because I'm kind of in that transition between summer and spring blooms. So my campanula is done. My first round of snapdragons is done. This is my second planting of snapdragons. Oh my goodness. Look at that stem. I'm going to cut this one apart so that I can use the whole thing. I'm actually going to sacrifice the short one, and that's going to be one stem. Anyway, a lot of my spring blooms are done. Like I said, my campanula's done, my peonies are done, and we're getting into those summer flowers. So the snapdragons that I have this week are my second round of snapdragons that I planted. The Rudbeckia obviously is starting. These Rudbeckia that I am working with today are ones that were planted last spring. So they are second year plants. So they always develop and start a little earlier than the ones that I planted this year. Now, last year I planted in the fall a bunch of Sahara Rudbeckia, and I'll pop a picture of those up on the screen. They're right outside the door here in a new garden area right behind the storefront, and they are just about ready to explode. In fact, some of them are blooming already. And the one thing I really like about Sahara Rudbeckia is that they're all different colors. Most of them are double. You could see some pale yellows in there. There's the darker ones. Some of them take on a mauve hue. Some of them are the more orange. All the plants are different. So if Sahara Rudbeckia is not something you're growing, you have to grow it. It does usually winter over for me. I probably will start Sahara Rudbeckia next spring because some always don't come back, or some of them, maybe it's a darker brown and I don't need any more of that. I'll pull that out and I can put it in with a new plant. Okay, I need one more. I'm using a couple of these darker ones in a bouquet, so they're gonna have some options. Okay, I've got yarrow, I just need some status. I'll do this one stem. So the Rudbeckia, next week, I foresee myself at the market using a ton of that Sahara Rudbeckia, and then the yarrow and the snapdragons. This will kind of be what my market bouquets look like next week, except instead of these Goldilocks, I will have all the Sahara Rudbeckia. It should be really beautiful. I feel like this one isn't quite as big as the others. I need one more yellow one, I think. Yes, that does the trick. Also, what I'm going to be, oh my gosh, my rubber band just shot out of my hand. I was saying Also, what I have been harvesting out of the garden a little bit is my Skylar Veronica. I've got some Fama Scabiosa, the white and the blue. What else? I'm looking out my window. Oh, my echinacea's starting. I did a birthday bouquet yesterday and I had some pink echinaceas, so that was really pretty as well. All right, so there's bouquet number 2. All right, I'm gonna do one more really quick on camera, and then it's gonna be time to open the storefront. So I'm gonna have to open the front door. And I don't like recording videos back here when the storefront is open because I feel like I can't really hear the people come in and it makes me nervous. But anyway, I am really glad to have the summer flowers. Now I have to admit, oh my gosh, this is terrible. I haven't planted my dahlias yet. I saw one of my flower farmers on Instagram yesterday, and she posted all of her beautiful dahlia foliage and that she was getting ready to pinch her dahlias. I have not even planted mine yet. I know it's not too late. I will just have later blooms, which for me, September is the big dahlia month anyway, but I really need to get those in the garden next week. I actually had planned on getting them in the garden this week. I have a bunch of the area prepped, but we have had nonstop rain for the last few days, like inches of rain. We were in a flood watch. We've just had a lot of moisture. So I'm hoping over the weekend those beds will dry out enough that I can dig a trench, drop the tubers in because they're ready to go, and then those will be in the ground. And then the last thing I need to do in the garden will be planting my last succession of zinnias, and then everything is planted. It has just been such a crazy spring this year with having the storefront for the first time. I've had spring weddings, not to do flowers for, but that I photograph, and it has just been busier than expected, and I'm running a little behind. So I think next year I'm really gonna have to be a little more structured with my planting. I've got my photography schedule and the storefront schedule controlled, but I feel like I need to conquer the planting schedule a little bit. Last year, I also was just a little bit lax with clearing out beds in the fall because we were finishing the building renovation and getting the storefront ready. So this year, I also need to be more vigilant with clearing out the beds and prepping them in the fall. So that is something that I do not have to worry about in the spring. All right, there's bouquet number 3. I'm going to quickly put the 4th one together, clean up a little bit, and then I'll pop back on here and show you what they look like at the end. All right, the bouquets are done. I'll pop a picture up on the screen. I think with the extra flowers I have left, I'm gonna put together a couple bouquets, put them out in my bucket stand right by the counter in the store and see if I can sell them today in the storefront. Might as well, because I've got the flowers. So anyway, that's gonna do it for this bouquet making video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And stay tuned for dahlia planting videos next week because that has to get done. And then it'll probably be time for a garden tour. So watch for those next week. Hope you're having a great weekend and we will see you soon.